2, 3, 4.
Welcome everyone to Discover This. Today we're going to tell a story about a guy that you all have heard of. A guy by the name of John Wayne Gacy. And how he ended up in Las Vegas. And what he was doing in Las Vegas. And you all know what he did after he left Las Vegas. And went back to Chicago. But we're going to tell the story about his Las Vegas, the part of his life. So let's get to it. So I need to issue a warning on this one. It's going to be some, story gets a little bit graphic towards the end. So just be aware of that. So hide the kids or bring them out and turn the TV up, whatever you want to do. Just understand it's going to be graphic. So you know that John Wayne Gacy was convicted of murdering 33 young men, the bodies of many of whom were later to be found in the crawl space underneath his home in Chicago. Now, if you know about John Wayne Gacy, then you know his story growing up. You know, he was beaten by his alcoholic father, sexually abused by a contractor in the neighborhood, and all that kind of stuff. He also had various medical issues and injuries that needed treatment. When he was 18, he basically ran away from home, although technically he was an adult. And he went to Las Vegas, Nevada, supposedly to stay with a cousin who lived there. Now, Las Vegas in reality was not what the young John Wayne Gacy had imagined. I'll show you here an old photo of what Fremont Street looked like around that time. But Vegas was incredibly hot, lots of traffic and all that. So John Wayne Gacy, he blew his money right away, started looking for jobs. And one day he was taken by ambulance to the emergency room at Southern Nevada Memorial Hospital in Las Vegas. So he then owed money to the ambulance service for that trip to the ER. And he ended up getting a job as a driver for the ambulance company by lying about his age. You had to be 21 or older to drive an ambulance, and he was only 18 or 19. So after the ambulance company found out that Gacy was only 18 or 19, they got him a job at the Palm Mortuary, which is where we're at now. Just a little bit north of downtown Las Vegas and Fremont Street. But he got a job here as a night janitor. And he was so low on funds that the director of the mortuary allowed him to put up a cot in one of the rooms and stay and sleep there. Now, he usually finished his assigned duties in enough time that it left him time to roam around the mortuary and explore. So he would practice on himself with the makeup and putty that they used to make the deceased look better. And then that morphed into him starting to talk to the dead bodies. He'd pull the drawers out and start talking to them, having conversations. And then that morphed into him putting on the clothes that those bodies were going to be buried in, and he would roam around the mortuary in the dead person's clothes. So after about 3 months of living at the mortuary, he came across the body of a 16-year-old young man, and he became infatuated with that young man's body. So much so, he started engaging in necrophiliac acts with that body, and it shocked even himself that what he was capable of doing. Now, he was never caught in the act with doing anything to any of the bodies. However, the funeral director became suspicious enough that he actually called the police at one point to investigate what was going on. So nothing was ever proven, but it was time for John Wayne Gacy to move on, and he went back to Chicago. Now, after he was arrested for those murders, the 33 young men, when they were doing the interviews with John Wayne Gacy, when law enforcement was interviewing him about those murders, he admitted to all the stuff that had been rumored about his life in Las Vegas. The talking to the dead bodies and wearing the clothes and the necrophiliac acts and all that stuff. He admitted to all that during interviews. However, once he was convicted and got sent to death row, he disavowed any of those previous comments he had made and said none of that stuff ever happened. However, he also said he didn't murder any of those 33 young men either at the same time. So take it for what it's worth. But that's the story of John Wayne Gacy here in Las Vegas, living and working at the Palm Mortuary. Just him and a bunch of dead bodies. That's going to do it, ladies and gentlemen, for this video on John Wayne Gacy and his life in Las Vegas. I appreciate you taking the time to watch. Please check out our other videos, and we will see you next time.